At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Well, welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor and our chief meteorologist Matt Laubon. He is going to be alongside later in the 5 o'clock broadcast. He is actually live in Yalobusha County giving us an update on those relief efforts. But aside from the recovery efforts, we do still have a packed show as showers still highlight a good part of our forecast in North Mississippi. So those scattered chances, they do continue into these evening hours, but will dissipate out overnight. Tracking that out hour by hour here in just a moment. As you can see right behind our headlines right there, dense fog advisories do continue for some heading into these evening hours. So yes, the hazardous conditions with the rainfall now transitioning to a hazardous commute with the fog. Matt also joining us live from Coffeeville. He is live in Yalobusha County. He has been there all afternoon. And Matt, you've been talking about relief efforts. I mean, we were in Tippah County yesterday, but tonight we are in Yalobusha County. I can hear you. I don't know if the shot is updating, but I know that you have been there earlier on talking with folks about...
I'm going to hit the refresh button to make it work. Give me a second.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and bring it back here. And Matt, I'll be looking for your shot behind the scenes here in just a moment. So I'm going to bring it back in here to the, and it looks like you just got it up. Hey, perfect timing. There we go. All right, Matt, we're going to toss it back to you while we have that connection in place. You know, you're in Yalobusha County tonight. What exactly have you been seeing out there with recovery efforts, and how are folks doing?
They're doing well. I'm wondering if this is connecting a hotspot instead of the Wi-Fi. Because it looks like it's kind of jumpy, so I apologize for that. We'll go ahead and give you kind of a quick overview here, and then we'll talk more at the end of this broadcast. Maybe if this is in and out. Yeah, that is. Give me 2 graphics, and I'll have you actually with something, okay?
Sounds good. All right, we're going to bring it back in here to the Room to Room Weather Center. Talk to Matt here in just a moment. We can focus on that first 12, and like I mentioned, for some going to be scattered showers. For others, the dense fog advisories that are in place, that continues into the 6 o'clock hour with 40% coverage, 30% there by 9, and then dissipating out into those overnight hours. But those cloudy conditions do remain overhead and keep a mild start in place for our Wednesday. But let that mild start be taken with a grain of salt, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment. Dense fog advisory is primarily going to be up there towards the northwest part of Mississippi, including parts of Shelby, Cleveland, Clarksdale, even around Hernando and Senatobia. That is in place until 9 o'clock p.m. tonight. And that's, again, where a lot of folks have been dealing with those icy conditions that were still on the ground as that rain has fallen, a little bit more moisture in the air, and that has allowed for some of those foggy conditions to be in place. I mean, take a look at Shelby tonight. 55 degrees, but as saturated as it could ever be with that fog coverage right overhead. Not only is it in Shelby, also out around Clarksdale. So folks all across the northwest part of Mississippi, unfortunately, dealing with that foggy evening. Macon right now, just those light showers that continue to work their way through North Mississippi. That's going to be the final area that deals with these showers before that threat moves east into Alabama. But 53 degrees, that's not a temperature to shrug about, because that's something that a lot of us would have longed for this time last week. And same thing up there towards Saltillo, 52 degrees. So this is a forecast that continues to remain mild. We have to deal with some rainfall, but I don't think anyone is complaining about these temperatures whatsoever. Let's see if we can get Matt back up here and talk about the latest. So I hear you once again. I don't know if it's connected.
Okay. It looks fine on my end. We're going to have to fix it. I apologize.
It's all good.
At the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll come back to you coming up later in the 5 o'clock broadcast. But Matt, take it easy, and we'll see you back here in just a second. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back in here to the Room to Room Weather Center. And as we continue to assess things behind the scenes, we are looking at that Mississippi Live Weather Radar, or Mama Justice Doppler radar, that showcases these showers that have been working through North Mississippi all afternoon and now evening long. As you can see on that 6-hour loop, a little bit more widespread once we move past that lunchtime hour. But as we get more into the evening hours, it's primarily going to be Golden Triangle and South that are dealing with this rainfall. Of course, with those showers comes a little bit of those decent rainfall totals. We're seeing a large amount south of Highway 82. Might I say exactly where our models were projecting it this time yesterday. So doing a great job with aligning those highest impacts, but when we're talking about those highest impacts, we're talking about some areas a little bit over that half an inch range, other areas close to that half an inch area or range, and of course if we work our way up north, a little bit lighter in nature, so not going to be as impactful for some of those accumulated totals, but nonetheless this is rainfall that we still need. We're taking every second of it. And one thing that it's doing is actually melting the ground where that ice is lingering. And one of the things that Matt was noticing driving over towards Yalobusha County is the fact that all that ice has kind of subsided. The effects are still there. But in regards to any of that white stuff still on the ground, it's looking much better. And that's going to just allow for those relief efforts, those recovery efforts to continue to trend in the right direction. That cold front right over the top of North Mississippi right now, but that is driving our rain chances for our Tuesday evening. As we keep this moving into those overnight hours, you can see how that front gradually works its way towards the east into Alabama and taking a large part of those rain chances with it. There is potential of a few showers building on the back end of this front. Not exactly sold on this extensive of coverage, but you can see a few pockets that are going to be happening across North Mississippi by the time we get towards 7:30 and 8 o'clock. And as that shifts more into Alabama during those overnight hours, that's where we'll see those rain chances shift over there as well. So North Mississippi by 3 a.m., potential of a brief light shower is there, but overall we're staying mostly dry, and that'll continue to carry over into the start of our Wednesday morning. So Wednesday morning, a little bit mild heading out the door, but it is going to be that cloud cover that remains in place. And behind that cloud cover, you see a little bit of it out there towards Greenville. These northerly winds, that's going to bring a little bit of a chill. So yes, it will still be mild for the start of Wednesday, but wind chill is going to play a bigger factor, and that's one of the things that we'll be paying attention to as we get into that extended forecast here in just a moment. 6 a.m., 34 degrees, continue to remain right around that range all day long with those gloomy conditions in place. I mean, we're 39 by noon, 41 by 3 p.m., and then we're dropping into the low 30s by 9 p.m. tomorrow night. And that then returns that cold air here to North Mississippi, and that's where we need to get those layers ready because unfortunately, Mother Nature not done with us just yet and going to drop those temperatures heading into that midweek portion of our work week. Coming up here in the next 60, we're going to talk more about the saturated forecast, whether it be fog or rainfall, but we're also going to be talking more about that temperature forecast, how much of a chill we're talking about Wednesday morning, and how cold do we get Thursday morning. All of those latest details coming up here in the Room to Room Weather Center in the next 60.
Look at Wanda, ready to rock her big presentation. But first, lunch. Sweet Pepper's Deli. Delicious, celebratory, but is it quick? The Cobb salad. Tender oven roasted chicken, topped with cheese. Prepared, plated, and served? In 6 minutes? Is this for real? Well, of course. Well done, Wanda. Sweet Pepper's Deli. Yes, ma'am. Life is sweet.
Frozen pipes can cause serious damage. That's why Absolute Restoration is giving away free faucet covers to our community while supplies last. Installing them is easy. Just slide the foam sleeve over your outdoor faucet and secure it snugly. Also remember to disconnect hoses, open cabinet doors under sinks, and let faucets drip during extreme cold. Call or text to check availability, and from our family to yours, please stay warm and protected.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
We have a gorgeous forecast heading into this weekend with not just mild temperatures, we're talking about some warmer temperatures here in North Mississippi. 54 degrees Saturday and back into the 60s by Sunday. I meant to change those headlines, forgive me there. But what we will see is that warming trend continue. But before we get there, we do have to unfortunately deal with a dip in those temperatures by midweek. And that's all being driven by this cold front that's over the top of North Mississippi as we speak. That's giving us those rain chances that we've had all day long, but also giving us colder temperatures on the back side. So if we zoom this out, you can see just how extensive this cold front is and a little bit of that clearing that we're getting on the back side of this frontal system. That's going to be that high pressure center that's building over the top of building into North Mississippi as we move more into our Wednesday. Now, as I shift this over to our temperatures, you can see that some of those temperatures are already seeing a pretty substantial drop there towards Springfield, Kansas City, and Memphis. I mean, Tupelo right now coming in at 50 degrees, Memphis 43, Springfield 44, and then Kansas City all the way in the mid-30s. So there will be a drop in these temperatures. It's just going to be as this front clears, all that moisture carries out with it, and then we'll be left with a little bit more of those colder winter-like temperatures. So day planner tonight remaining pretty mild with that moisture over the top of North Mississippi. We're 30% by 7, same thing by 9, and temperature-wise, 52 degrees, only falling off into the mid-40s by 11 o'clock. Now, that is not a bad temperature forecast whatsoever, and paired with these warm temperatures and rain chances, that has allowed what's been left on the ground for the past several days, yes, all of that ice, to start to work its way out of North Mississippi. Finally, and that's going to help immensely with those recovery efforts. And again, we'll talk to Matt here in just a moment on how things are looking in Yalobusha County. But if we keep looking at our Tuesday, you can see that this continues to remain with those soggy conditions, especially around the Golden Triangle and south heading into 9 and 10 o'clock. Those chances dissipate on out, and we're going to be much drier overnight. Not saying a sprinkle is impossible, but as we get into those overnight hours, that is going to work all that moisture east into Alabama, leaving us dry here in North Mississippi. Cloud cover does linger in our forecast, at least for the start of our Wednesday before things clear up, but that is honestly allowing it to be a blanket in our sky and keep those temperatures much more mild than what they will be later on this week. We're talking 32 in Houston, same thing around Boonville, 30 Water Valley and Oxford, 33 Greenwood, and 32 in Cleveland. While these temperatures are not bad, the winds do factor into the forecast. And let's take a look at that wind chill as we look at our Wednesday morning. We're talking about a 6-degree swing in regards to feels like values to actual temperatures in South Haven, Senatobia, and Holly Springs. 27 in Tupelo for real feel values and 30 in Starkville. So that wind is playing more of a factor. So those temperatures, yes, they're not too bad, but wind chills make it a little bit more unbearable. So the school day forecast, don't be fooled by that drop-off temperature. It's going to feel much worse heading out the door, 39 by lunch, and then 41 towards that final bell, still with those breezy conditions in North Mississippi, but also that cloud cover trying to linger as long as possible. But I promise you, as we get into Wednesday night, things do trend a little bit more clearer. As we get towards our Wednesday morning forecast, you can see that cloud cover trying to linger in our forecast. And as we get into those later hours, we continue to see that cloud cover over the top of North Mississippi. Now, this cloud cover is that lingering moisture on the backside of that frontal system, kind of that wraparound moisture over the top of us. But high pressure does build into the area as we get more towards that Wednesday afternoon. As I expanded it out here, you can get a better visual on what's taking place. Again, this low moving way off there towards the east coast and taking all of this moisture with it. And the further east that low goes, that's going to take a lot of this moisture and a lot of that cloud cover away and allow for that clearing to take place on the back end of our Wednesday, wrapping it up and then heading into our Thursday morning. So with that being said, with that clearing that's taking place late on our Wednesday afternoon and early evening hours, that's going to allow all of that heat that we've been enjoying here on the surface to escape and allow things to really cool off by Thursday morning. So high temperatures Wednesday, not much change due to how much moisture is in the air. 43 degrees in Tupelo, 44 Grenada, 44 Louisville and Macon, and same thing being seen around Greenville, Belzona, and Greenwood. As we look at those futurecasts into the evening hours, we continue to see a large part of that cloud cover shift on out and allow for these northerly winds and clear skies to dominate our forecast into our Thursday morning. And what this means, like I said, that blanket, once you take the blanket off, you get pretty cold. Well, that's exactly what's happening in North Mississippi. We're taking our blanket off and being left with these mostly clear skies. And by the time we get towards our Thursday morning, you can see just how cold those temperatures will be. In the teens in some spots, we're talking Lafayette County as well as Marshall County, even down south there towards Chickasaw County. Low 20s still being seen in Golden Triangle and mid 20s all the way out there towards Belzona and Greenville. If we look at these wind chills, they continue to play a big factor in our forecast, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if there were potentially some cold weather advisories being issued Thursday morning to accommodate for just how chilly those conditions do get. I mean, 11-degree real feel value in Boonville. I know my wife is not going to be too thrilled with that forecast. 23 in Grenada for those wind chill values and 20 there towards Belzona. So a chilly forecast nonetheless. Mother Nature, this winter pattern, not done with us, but things do get better as we get beyond our Thursday. And we'll see that by the time we get towards our Thursday afternoon. I mean, take a look. All of that cloud cover and potentially some of that freezing fog, not impossible either, works its way out of North Mississippi. That northerly wind is in our forecast, and that is going to make for a sunny sky all day long. Now, temperatures won't exactly translate with this, as we'll see in just a moment, but at least we're getting sunshine back in the forecast with how gloomy it was today. This is definitely something I'm looking forward to. But as we get more into our Thursday night and Friday morning, those temperatures do trend in the right direction, and that is up, and warmer temperatures do prevail by the weekend, as we saw at the top of the show. High temperatures on your Thursday: 42 Boonville, 41 Iuka, 42 in Hamilton, and 46 in Starkville. We're seeing 45 out there towards I-55 and 46 right across the river there in the Mississippi River. But folks, this is similar to what we're getting Wednesday afternoon, getting similar temperatures for our Thursday afternoon, but all of it goes up heading into the weekend. Right on time, right, for all of those weekend plans. So not a bad forecast whatsoever. So there's your dip Wednesday and Thursday. 60s return on Friday. A brief dip on Saturday, but then we're back into the 60s consistently heading into the start of next week. So finally, our patience has prevailed, and we are getting to enjoy a much better forecast once we get into this weekend, and once all the effects of this frontal system that's over the top of us right now clears on out. So as we take a look at that forecast, sunshine Thursday, sunshine Friday, allowing that warm air to return, and this weekend will be beautiful with dry conditions as well as sunshine and plenty of warm air. Now, while this is fantastic for weekend plans, including Super Bowl Sunday, it's also fantastic for relief efforts that are happening across North Mississippi. One of the areas we're highlighting tonight is Yalobusha County. Our Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lawpon, looking behind the scenes. Everything does look good, and he's going to join us with the very latest on what's happening out there in the Coffeeville area.
Yeah, hard to get a live shot out from inside a metal building. That's not just here in Yalobusha County. That's really any time. So we kind of have that struggle. You see showers behind me here, warm showers in Yalobusha County. One of the things that new to the area in the last 24 to 36 hours, an opportunity for folks that, again, have been without power now for more than 10 days in some cases to be able to just have something that feels a little bit more normal. We're at the multi-purpose building here in Coffeeville. Stuart Spence is the emergency manager here in the Yalobusha County area. Thank you so much for joining us here on Mississippi Live. We talked a little bit at 4 o'clock again about some of the efforts still ongoing, but this is not an immediate thing. I think if people have already kind of prepared, this is going to be going on for a little while longer.
Yes, I would say at least a week, maybe 2 weeks.
So it does seem as though running into folks in there, most people are still in fairly good spirits, all things considered. I mean, I know my wife would not be in the happiest of moods without power for more than a day, much less, when we're talking now 10 days or more in some cases.
Yes, most people come in are pretty good spirits about all this. Just happy we got supplies coming and some stuff to help them out to survive.
Chicken, fried chicken, is a good meal on a normal day, but y'all have a whole bunch of it cooking back there for folks in this area that do need a hot meal.
Yes, this is our second day to cook chicken. We're probably going to have enough left over to do one more chicken cooking. It'll probably be another day or two before we bring it back up. So we plan on having something brought in tomorrow. We're going to have 2 to 3 meals a day for at least next week.
The United Cajun Navy is a worldwide group that obviously started after Katrina, and they are here and they've been kind of helping you guys out. How important is it to have not just those governmental stakeholders, but those volunteers as well?
Volunteers and government, people like it. That's made the world of difference. It's hard to get stuff quickly as from the state level, so having non-profit organizations come in and step up and bring us supplies, food, volunteers, that really makes a disaster better.
So here's the question. If somebody's watching at home and they do feel their heartstrings pulled, how can they help you guys?
We're always looking for volunteers to either transport meals or supplies to people who still cannot get out of the house. Right now, EMA and the Sheriff's Department, for the most part, has been delivering the supplies to people who can't get out. So volunteers to just help run errands, help out supplies, help out in the building, we're more than welcome.
Temperatures have been more manageable the last day or so, get a little colder tonight. Do you anticipate another influx here at the shelter, or do we think we've probably seen our peak capacity in the past, hopefully?
I think peak capacity, I think we kind of see, unless temperatures stop dropping and they drop below freezing for several days, we might see another influx, but I think for right now, we're pretty much on the downside of that.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
That's about it.
Okay, Stuart Spence is the emergency manager here in Yalobusha County. You guys, I think good thing I notice is most of the roadways, there's a path through. Many of the roadways in pretty decent shape, all things considered. You just have so many trees down. It's a large task.
Yes, it is. It's a large task getting trees out, especially with trees as bad as it was. Power lines in the middle of trees. We just don't have the capacity to get stuff like that out to the power company, comes back and cuts the lines out to get the rest of the trees out of the road.
Yeah, so it's a process, unfortunately. Hey, thank you so much for talking with us here on Mississippi Live. And, if there's anything we can do, just let us know, all right?
Thank y'all.
Okay, Stuart Sprintz is, the emergency manager here in Yalobusha County, kind of joining us here. Again, they do have hot showers. They do have hot meals. They do have other supplies. They had propane a little earlier on this week. They're hoping to get another shipment of that in, again, for folks that might need to cook off of that because, that's a need. But of course, for folks that might just need reminding here to stay warm, we've got to make sure that we are well ventilated so that we don't have carbon monoxide buildup, because anytime you're burning something, obviously that is a concern there. But they have water, they have other supplies here at the multipurpose building in Coffeeville related to this. But Gabe, I'm going to send it back to you in the studio here. I want to try to get heading up the road to Water Valley. Hope to be able to talk to the mayor up there in Water Valley coming up during our 6 o'clock broadcast. But for now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopp on Mississippi Live Weather. Send it back to y'all in the studio.
And Matt, a big testament to everyone that is just working hard here in North Mississippi to make sure there's a sense of normalcy, even in a time where normalcy is hard to come by. And that includes folks in Yalobusha County. It also includes folks up there in Alcorn County. Brandy submitting us this picture over there towards Corinth. Now, this was on the early half of our Tuesday where the sun was still shining a little bit because the linemen up there enjoying a little bit of that sunshine, trying to get some of those repairs in before the rain started to fall. But even through the rain, everyone's still out and about trying to help their neighbor, and that's just that Mississippi culture that we've come to know and love here in the Magnolia State. So I hope that you guys are staying prepared. I hope that you guys are staying taken care of and cared for. And again, if we can do anything, you can feel free to reach out to us and we'll try to get you in the right direction, or reach out to your local EMA directors. Anyone that can help out, they are right there at the phone, ready to help out as needed. So you guys make sure to take it easy tonight. We are going to keep our coverage in Yalobusha County continuing into the 6 o'clock hour. So make sure to have that Mississippi Live Weather app for the very latest on that coverage. Of course, that is free on iOS and Android. Heard a few folks asking in Yalobusha County if there is a Roku download. There is. So you can search Mississippi Live on there and you'll be able to download that to your Roku streaming providers. As you take a look at that broadcast schedule, 6 o'clock, that's our next broadcast with Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopp tracking what's happening in Yalobusha County. And don't forget our 10 o'clock broadcast later on tonight, tracking what's left of those rain chances and what that means carrying over into our Wednesday. We'll have all of those latest details live here from the Room to Room Weather Center. So have a terrific Tuesday night, and we'll have a wonderful Wednesday ahead.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. We knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lopp cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lopp has proven himself trustworthy